Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you a fantastic game played by Leinier, Dominguez, Perez against Wesley. This game was played in 2014 at Tata Steel tournament. Now let's see what happened on the board. Dominguez Perez started the game with e4 and e5 by knight f3, knight f6. We see the Russian game, knight takes e5, d6, knight f3, and knight takes e4, after which Dominguez Perez chose a very sharp Nimzowitsch attack. He is allowing Black to double up his pawns on the c file, is later going to castle queenside, and these doubled pawns on the c file are actually giving a solidity to White's queenside. Bishop e7, Bishop e3, Black castles kingside. Other major alternatives are knight c6 or bishop g4, but in our game we have castling kingside, queen d2 and b6. An unexpected decision, Black usually develops his bishop on e6 square, but in our game we have b6, Black is going to flank it to his light squared bishop, White castles queenside, bishop b7, and here we go, h4 is on the board. Knight d7, bishop d3, and knight f6. The knight is coming to safeguard the pawn on h7. Bishop d4. Meanwhile, Dominguez Perez is centralizing his bishops, which are eyeballing at Black's king side. c5. Black is instantly kicking away the bishop from the active square, but here comes bishop takes f6. White is removing one of the defenders. Bishop takes f6, queen f4, d5, and h5. Rook e8, this time g4. Look at this. Actually, White's attack looks very scary, and it was in here that Wesley made a mistake and played g6. Probably he was scared seeing these white monsters marching towards his king. The problem with this g6 is that this allows White to open up the h file without any problems and target Black king. Instead of g6, it was better to play d4. And now if g5, then bishop takes f3, and after g takes f6, queen takes f6, and the exchange of queens. White can deliver a check from g1, Black can simply respond with king h8, if rook h3 then bishop e4, and we have an equal endgame. But in our game after g4 we see g6, and of course Dominguez Perez captured on g6, thus opening up the h file for the rook. Now comes g5, bishop g7. On the surface it looks like that Black managed to solve all the problems. This fianchettoed bishop will manage to protect Black king, but in this position Dominguez Perez found a brilliant move, after which Black's position is collapsing. Can you find his next move? Ready? He simply played rook h7. Look at this move. This reminds me of Vladimir Okopian's move which he made against Vladimir Kramnik. I have already covered that game and will pin the link in the comments section. The threat is simple: to play queen h4 and then to sacrifice the rook on g7 and kill the enemy king. And now if we move like king takes h7, then after queen takes f7, Black king is in a mating net. This rook is coming and it's over. In the game after rook h7 we see d4, but now comes the light squared bishop, bishop c4. White is choosing another target, the pawn on f7, queen e7, which loses immediately, although if we move like bishop takes f3, then White can go for rook takes g7, and again in this case saving the position is going to be extremely difficult. Of course this rook e7 is important, otherwise there was a mating threat, and then White can announce a check from f6 and then capture on f3. If queen takes g5 check, then king b1, and with this exposed king Black has a little chance to save the position. But in our game we have queen e7, and after queen h4 Wesley resigned. With his last move White is sacrificing the knight on f3 and is threatening rook takes g7 check, and actually Black can't avoid the mating attack. For example, if we move like bishop takes f3, then rook takes g7 is coming. If king takes g7, then queen h6 check, and then queen takes g6. If king f8, then again queen h6 check, and after king g8 the g pawn is coming and it's over. It's difficult to find a good continuation for black. Let's just make a random move. If bishop takes d1, then white can announce a check from h7 and then can deliver a checkmate either by playing queen h8 or by playing g7. I really like checkmates with the pawn, that's why g7, and we have a checkmate on the board. This was a very impressive game by Dominguez Perez, although Wesley defended poorly, but of course white's attack was spectacular. Thanks for watching, I hope that you enjoyed this game. For more games consider subscribing to my channel. I will see you in the next video.